Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders are heading into Monday Night Football in Week 8 with a glimmer of hope finally flickering in what has been a season full of frustration, uncertainty, and injury woes. For months, the story has been all about what's missing, who's hurt, and whether the team can even string together a full, competitive game without running into yet another setback. Now, at long last, fans of the Burgundy and Gold can breathe a little easier because their star wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, is finally back on the field. But make no mistake, this isn't just any return. This is the return of a player who has been the heartbeat of the Commanders' offense for years, a player who has been absent during critical stretches and whose presence alone can change the dynamic of the team. For head coach Dan Quinn, this is a chance to finally field a more complete unit against one of the league's most formidable opponents, the Kansas City Chiefs. And while expectations should be tempered, the morale boost McLaurin brings cannot be overstated. This season has not been kind to Washington, and if you've been following along, you know it's been one demoralizing problem after another. After a memorable run to the NFC Championship game last year, the Commanders entered the offseason with high hopes, dreams of a playoff push, and aspirations of a deep postseason run. Fast forward to today, and the reality has been harsh. A 3-4 record, a series of grueling matchups, and persistent injury concerns have conspired to make life extremely difficult for Quinn and his coaching staff. Injuries have not only affected the team's performance, but have also cast a shadow over every game, leaving fans constantly wondering who will take the field and whether the team can ever find its rhythm. Among all the injuries and setbacks, the absence of Terry McLaurin has loomed the largest. McLaurin's troubles started before the season even began. The talented wideout, a second-team All-Pro and one of the most reliable targets in Washington's passing game, missed all of summer practice due to a contract standoff with general manager Adam Peters. It wasn't just a minor hiccup. It was a prolonged period of uncertainty that left the team scrambling to adjust its offensive plans and left fans anxiously checking news updates every day. The contract dispute hung over the team like a dark cloud, threatening to derail the early stages of the season before it even started. Eventually, McLaurin got his deal, a compromise that aligned with the Commanders' long-term strategy, but the timing meant he entered the season rusty and out of sync with his teammates. Even once the contract was settled, the obstacles didn't stop there. In Week 3, against the Las Vegas Raiders, McLaurin suffered a quad and hip injury that forced him off the field once again. Washington decided not to place him on injured reserve, which meant fans could hope for a relatively quick return, but the weeks dragged on with McLaurin conspicuously absent from game day rosters. Head coach Dan Quinn, ever the optimist, offered updates and reassurances each week, promising that McLaurin was progressing and might return at any moment. Yet for 4 weeks, hope turned into frustration as McLaurin remained sidelined, leaving the Commanders to struggle without their primary offensive weapon. Now, all that changes. This week, as the team prepares for its primetime showdown against the Chiefs, McLaurin has been fully cleared to practice, and he hasn't just participated lightly. He's been fully involved in 3 straight practice sessions. No injury designation has been applied, and all signs point to him taking the field in what could be one of the most important games of the season for Washington. This is a significant moment, not just for McLaurin, but for the entire team. Having their star wideout back gives the Commanders a boost in talent, confidence, and morale that they desperately need heading into a game against Patrick Mahomes and a Chiefs squad that has been dominating opponents all year. Of course, it's important to temper expectations. McLaurin has been away from football for a significant stretch of time, missing not just games but valuable practice reps that help a receiver stay sharp, synced with his quarterback, and able to read defenses at a high level. After weeks of inactivity, it's unrealistic to expect him to instantly return to the production levels that once made him one of the league's elite pass catchers. The chemistry he shares with veteran quarterback Marcus Mariota will be helpful, as they have worked together previously and know each other's tendencies. But even so, it will take time for McLaurin to fully find his groove, adjust to game speed, and regain the timing that made him so dangerous in the past. Offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury will need to manage his workload carefully, providing opportunities for McLaurin to make an impact while also not overloading him too early. This careful balancing act will be crucial in maximizing the benefit of McLaurin's return without risking re-injury. Beyond the tactical implications, McLaurin's presence carries immense symbolic weight. The Commanders' locker room has weathered a storm of injuries, disappointing performances, and tough losses, and having a player of McLaurin's caliber back in the fold can lift spirits, energize teammates, and restore some sense of stability. Pairing him with fellow star Deebo Samuel Sr. creates a dynamic duo that defenses will have to account for, forcing opponents to adjust schemes and creating opportunities for other playmakers to shine. Even if McLaurin isn't at 100% physically, his presence alone demands attention and respect from opposing defenses, which can open the field for the rest of Washington's offense. From a fan perspective, this is the kind of moment that reignites hope. The last few weeks have been tough, with frustration mounting over injuries, inconsistencies, and the long shadows of missed opportunities. McLaurin's return is a reminder that talent and leadership still exist within this team, and that, despite a challenging start to the season, there's still a path forward. It's not just about the numbers he can put up on the stat sheet. It's about what he represents, a chance to stabilize an offense, inspire teammates, and give the team a fighting chance against one of the NFL's most dominant squads. In short, Washington is better with McLaurin on the field, and it's finally time for him to show everyone why. As the Commanders prepare for their Monday Night Football clash with the Chiefs, all eyes will be on McLaurin. Analysts, fans, and commentators alike will be dissecting every play, every route, and every reception to gauge just how much of his former brilliance he can bring back after weeks on the sidelines. While miracles aren't guaranteed, even a modestly effective McLaurin is a major upgrade over what the Commanders have been working with in his absence. The offense now has an anchor, a reliable target, and a true playmaker who can shift momentum, create explosive plays, and give Washington a shot at pulling off what would be a stunning upset. In the end, Terry McLaurin's return is about more than just statistics, fantasy points, or highlight reels. It's about giving the Washington Commanders the best chance possible to compete, energize a beleaguered fan base, and reignite the spark that once carried them deep into the postseason. It's about a star coming back when his team needs him most, ready to do the work, take hits, and remind everyone why he has been, and continues to be, a cornerstone of this franchise. Monday night will be the first chance to see if McLaurin can shake off the rust, rediscover his rhythm, and remind the league why he belongs among the elite. One thing is certain, the Commanders are better with him, and for fans who have endured a season full of what-ifs and if-onlys, that is reason enough to tune in, cheer loudly, and hope that their star receiver can light up the night against a Chiefs team that is as dangerous as they are talented. McLaurin is back, the stage is set, and Washington finally has a legitimate reason to believe in what's possible. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The NFL world is buzzing, and if you thought the offseason was a quiet period to catch your breath, think again. Rumors are swirling, whispers are growing louder, and social media is absolutely on fire after a recent statement from none other than Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs superstar quarterback. Sources close to the league insiders are hinting that Mahomes, during a casual media interaction that was supposed to be lighthearted, made comments about the Washington Commanders that some are calling downright dismissive. Now, before we even get into the chaos this has sparked, let's set the scene. Mahomes, always the picture of calm confidence, was being asked about the upcoming season, potential playoff matchups, and of course, the perennial question about which teams could pose a real threat to the Chiefs in the playoffs. It's a standard line of questioning, something Mahomes is asked multiple times every season. But this time, things took a turn. According to reports, Mahomes' tone during the discussion wasn't the usual diplomatic, measured response that fans have come to expect from him. Instead, he allegedly referred to the Commanders in a way that implied he doesn't see them as a legitimate contender, something along the lines of, "We've got bigger challenges ahead," while gesturing vaguely at teams with recent playoff pedigree. Now, let's be clear, Mahomes didn't exactly say, "The Commanders are weak," but the implication was enough to set off a wildfire of outrage among Washington fans. In an NFL landscape where every word is dissected, and every inflection analyzed. This was enough fuel for endless hot takes and fiery comment sections. Fans of the Commanders took to Twitter, Reddit, and every platform imaginable, claiming that Mahomes' words were disrespectful, dismissive, and downright arrogant. Some even went as far as to call it a psychological ploy, a way to get into the heads of Washington's players before the season even begins. It doesn't stop there. The story gained traction when insiders suggested that Mahomes' comments were made almost offhandedly, in what was supposed to be a joking manner, but the delivery missed the mark spectacularly. NFL media personalities, always hungry for a narrative, immediately ran with the story, framing it as a potential rivalry in the making. Imagine the headlines. Mahomes dismisses Commanders, Washington fans outraged by Mahomes, and Chiefs QB sparks controversy before season. And if you thought this would blow over quietly, think again. The Commanders' fanbase is notoriously passionate, and the backlash has been swift and vocal. Social media is flooded with memes, hashtags, and even clips of Mahomes' previous interviews being dissected frame by frame, trying to catch any further signs of disrespect. Some analysts are now speculating about the potential implications on the field. Rivalries are often fueled by moments like these, moments where a superstar is perceived to underestimate a team. If Mahomes' comments are taken as a slight by the Commanders' locker room, the upcoming matchups could be more intense than anyone imagined. Imagine this. The Chiefs and Commanders facing off with the tension dialed up because the reigning MVP allegedly looked down on them months before kickoff. It's exactly the kind of storyline that sports media loves to milk, and the fan reactions only add layers. Many are pointing out that the Commanders have been quietly building a strong roster, and dismissing them publicly could come back to haunt Mahomes if the Chiefs underestimate their opponents. Meanwhile, speculation is rife about whether this incident could spill over into actual team strategies. Coaches and players, while typically focused on preparation rather than social media squabbles, are not immune to the narrative pressure that comes from high-profile comments. Rumors are circulating that Washington's coaching staff might use Mahomes' remarks as bulletin board material, a classic motivator tactic, ensuring that every player steps onto the field with extra determination. Meanwhile, Chiefs insiders are reportedly brushing off the drama, framing Mahomes' words as standard competitive confidence. After all, dismissing a potential thread in conversation is nothing new in professional sports. But fans rarely see it that way. For the Commanders' faithful, Mahomes' tone, his smirk, his casual wave of the hand, they all become symbolic, fuel for a grudge that could last the entire season. What's fascinating about this scenario is how quickly the story evolved. Initially a small blip during an interview segment, it's now dominating NFL chatter, trending in sports Twitter circles, and generating endless debate among talk show hosts and podcasts. The ripple effect of Mahomes' words is significant because it intersects with several ongoing narratives. The Chiefs' perennial dominance, the Commanders' aspirations to rise as playoff contenders, and the larger-than-life personalities that define the league today. Some commentators are even framing it as a generational showdown. Mahomes, the established superstar, versus a resurgent Washington team that wants to make its mark on the national stage. It's classic sports drama, the kind that keeps viewers glued to screens long after the regular season ends. And then there's the human angle. Mahomes, despite being one of the most skilled and respected quarterbacks in the NFL, is still navigating the minefield of public perception. A single misinterpreted comment can snowball into a major story, affecting fan sentiment and media coverage alike. Some fans have defended him, claiming he's simply speaking the truth as he sees it, and that confidence is part of what makes him great. Others, especially those loyal to the Commanders, see it as a blatant slight, proof that the league's elite players sometimes underestimate teams outside the traditional powerhouses. The debate over intention versus interpretation has become almost as compelling as the football itself, and in today's digital age, opinions spread faster than touchdowns. Every clip, every transcript, every isolated soundbite is analyzed, debated, and shared in a seemingly endless loop of speculation and commentary. The tension escalates further when considering the personal stakes. Patrick Mahomes is no stranger to pressure, and the Commanders are a team with something to prove. Rumors are already circulating about how this incident could influence preseason mindsets, locker room dynamics, and even fan turnout at games. Imagine a stadium filled with energized Commanders fans, each aware of Mahomes' perceived slight, ready to roar every time their team challenges the Chiefs. Sports psychologists would likely argue that such external motivators can impact performance. But in the NFL, where mental toughness is key, moments like these can either galvanize or backfire spectacularly. The narrative practically writes itself. A superstar underestimates a rising team, a city rallies behind its underdog squad, and the stakes of every game become magnified by a single casual remark. As of now, Mahomes has not issued any formal clarification or apology, leaving the rumor mill in overdrive. Every media appearance, every press conference, every tweet is scrutinized for hints of regret, confirmation, or further disrespect. Some insiders suggest that this silence is strategic, part of a calculated approach to maintain competitive mystique, while others interpret it as tone-deaf, a misstep in managing public relations. Meanwhile, Commanders fans continue to express outrage, not just online, but through organized social media campaigns, fan forums, and even local sports radio programs. It's becoming a full-blown narrative, one that could dominate headlines for weeks and potentially set the stage for a season defined by rivalry, drama, and high-stakes matchups. Ultimately, this situation underscores the volatile mix of sports, media, and fan culture. A single comment from a superstar quarterback like Patrick Mahomes has the power to ignite passionate responses, shape public perception, and even influence the psychological landscape of an entire season. Whether the Chiefs and Commanders actually meet in a pivotal game, or whether this becomes merely another off-season rumor that fades over time, the story has already captured the imagination of fans and analysts alike. And in a league where narratives are just as compelling as statistics, Mahomes' words, and the reaction they've provoked, have become a perfect storm, a swirling mix of ego, expectation, and the unpredictable fervor of sports fandom. The NFL thrives on moments like this, where off-field drama fuels on-field intensity, and every fan, analyst, and commentator is left wondering what happens next. Will Mahomes' remark motivate the Commanders to an unexpected triumph? Or will it be remembered as a minor slip in a superstar's long career? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The rumor, the outrage, and the buzz are just getting started, and the fallout promises to be as thrilling as any Sunday showdown on the gridiron. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.